Before Tab, I worked for NatWest and RBS for 31 years and really enjoyed the time that I had there. Lots of interesting and varied roles, and a significant amount of time, maybe 20 years or thereabouts, I worked alongside the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. When I came to leave NatWest, I was keen to find a way of continuing that involvement. And when I learned about Tab, it absolutely hit the spot for me in terms of working closely with SME owners of businesses who've got ambitions, and saw that as a really interesting way of me being able to help them achieve what they wanted with their business and their life. When I left RBS, I was keen to find a way of continuing my involvement with SME business owners, and there were a couple of options at that stage. One was to work for myself, the other was to explore a franchise. And from my time in corporate life, I'd had lots of experience of working with clients who themselves were franchisees, and I was aware of some of the pitfalls, but also what a good franchisor really looked like. I was working with a mentor who was helping me to identify what would be a good fit. And through that process, I came across the alternative board. In fairness, I'd never heard of Tab before then, but when I did, I really liked the people that I met. I absolutely connected with its purpose and really felt very comfortable in what Tab was all about. That was 10 years ago, and I've absolutely no regrets about becoming part of Tab when I did. Starting a Tab franchise business is the same as starting any brand new business. No clients and no revenue. So the greatest apprehension is, can I make this work? Can I actually recruit some members, some clients? My experience is that being successful requires diligence, following the process, great resilience, hard work, long hours. But boy, is it worth it when it pays off. I've got some fantastic members, some of whom have been with me for almost 10 years. And when you get the right group of people part of Tab, it's just such a rewarding experience. There are a wide variety of different aspects of support that Tab provide, which is helpful at various different stages of the journey. If I go back to the beginning, the initial training, I think, was really comprehensive. Delivered in a way that was tailored to me, lots of it face to face, which is really helpful, and run at a pace which worked very much in the way that I wanted it to do, and a big focus around the recruitment of members, which, as I've already mentioned, is one of the biggest challenges. But also then, how do I apply the Tab framework and approach to those clients who I have recruited? So through board meetings and one-to-ones. I think over the 10 years that I've been a Tab franchisee, the one area which has been most beneficial to me has been the monthly peer boards, which every facilitator attends. That's us sitting on the other side of the desk to the one that we normally sit around. It's an opportunity for us to bring our ideas, challenges, to a table of our peers and get the benefit of their experience, ideas, perspectives and thinking to help us make better quality decisions in the way that we run our own business. Tab's got an amazing community, especially in the UK, which I see most of, but also globally. And being part of it means a whole host of different things. It's the ability to pick up the phone informally to a colleague. It's about tapping into the experience of 40 or so facilitators in the UK who come from a range of different business backgrounds and can provide support, ideas and insight to problems and situations we might be facing. It's the ability to easily get hold of and get support and guidance from the team in head office who've been outstanding in all the time that I've worked with them. So it's a whole range of things, and it's the antidote to being in a situation where you're running a business on your own without support, feeling lonely. It's nothing like that. One example that springs to mind really clearly relates to a client who I've worked alongside for 8 or so years. He's been really successful in that period, but a couple of years ago went through some really difficult trading times, and so the business had to make some really tough decisions. That coincided with him thinking about what the future was for him and for the business, and he had one eye on planning his exit, but there wasn't a ready-made solution for that. And so what we've done over the last 18 months is work together to both reduce the business's reliance on him, prepare him in terms of thinking about what his next chapter looks like, and developing a leadership team who were very inexperienced 18 months ago to a position where they're now capable of running the business with very little input from the founder. And that's created a lot of freedom for him and choices in terms of the next stage of his career and life. The biggest single challenge of running a tab business is the recruitment of new members. So actually, the most important thing for me is to ensure that every one of my members every month gets great value from being a part of both the board that they participate in and also the one-to-one that we'll have every month. It's so important that those sessions are tailored towards them, that I understand what they're looking for, help them achieve their goals, and ultimately ensure that the two significant investments each of them make every single month, which is both their time and their money, is well rewarded, and that they recognise they're getting great value as a result of being a tab member. I love pretty much everything about being a tab franchisee. I love being part of a community and contributing to it and helping other franchisees on their journey. But the single most rewarding and satisfying thing for me is helping my members achieve things that, in their own words, they wouldn't be able to have done without tab. And that's not actually about me, but it is all about the process, and it's about the boards and having board members who really help support, challenge and inform one another, help each other on that journey, and ultimately enable them to achieve goals which they wouldn't have been able to do without that help. The first thing I'd say to you is that running a tab business is not a get rich quick scheme. And in just the same way that setting up any brand new business requires a lot of hard work, so does a tab franchise. You need to be prepared to put in the hard yards, to have lots of conversations with people who will never become tab members, talk to people who might introduce and pass on what tab is to other people that they know. So in the early stages, there's a lot of educational work going on, lots of meetings that perhaps are unproductive or might not deliver you immediate results, but you need to go through that process and be resilient and put in the hard yards. The second is to ensure that you've got the financial resources so that you're not dependent on tab producing you a quick revenue. It will come over time. But if you're in a position where you can be more selective about the members that you recruit, that means you'll recruit better members. They will stay with you longer. They'll be more enjoyable to work with, and you'll have a much more successful business in the long run. And the third is fully embrace the support that's available, whether that's through the community or through the Tab HQ team, or just being able to pick up the phone to any of the many people in Tab who are available to help. Those, I think, are the three things that if I was starting again, I'd be really keen to ensure that I did, and as my top tips for anybody starting out on that tab journey now. One of the objectives or ambitions that my wife and I had and have had for a number of years is to own our own property in France. And tab has enabled me not only to have the resources to be able to do that, but perhaps more importantly, because I'm in control of my own time, to be able to flex the amount of time I'm in the UK and in France, and tailor the work that I'm doing with my clients so that I can do that and free up enough time to enjoy the property that we've got in France. I never thought I was going to be able to do that, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without tab. So that's probably the biggest single thing that it's helped me achieve.